Summer Solstice, June 21st, 2023. Written, directed, and produced by Reverend Dr. Dickie Joe Mullen. The summer solstice is an ingress chart on June 21st, 2023. The midsummer day is celebrated around the world, including at Stonehenge. In the video, Dr. Mullen discusses the various crystals associated with this solstice. Now we will listen to Dr. Dickie Joe Mullen's lecture.
I'm astrologer and paranormal investigator Dickie Joe Mullen, coming to you from downtown Orlando, Florida, with a look at the summer solstice. The chart for the summer solstice sets the pace for the next 3 months. It's called an ingress chart in astrology, and it tells us what we can expect for ourselves and the world around us all the way until the autumn begins in September. The summer solstice has been thought to be a powerful portal, a gateway to states of higher awareness for centuries. We see this in Shakespeare's play, A Midsummer Night's Dream, how there's a reflection of there being glimpses of other realities. In the world of plants and animals, of course, the bees are pollinating, the flowers are blossoming. All of nature is at a peak, at least here in the northern hemisphere, as the longest day of the year approaches. Midsummer's Day, or the summer solstice, is the time when the hours of light are at a maximum. Crowds gather in different places. Stonehenge is maybe one of the most famous, or Avebury in the United Kingdom, as far as being places where the sunrise is celebrated on Midsummer's Day. It's thought to be an especially powerful time. Midsummer's Day, the exact time when the sun, or the Earth's path around the sun, is at 00 Cancer, is the chart that we want to look at. And here in Orlando and on the east coast of the United States, it's at 10:58 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It'll be slightly different in other parts of the world, but it is today when that energy is at a peak. And so it's all about the powerful battles against light and darkness. And we see this between the oak and the ash trees in the world around us. The light begins to decline, and the hours of darkness begin to come in tomorrow, and sort of become greater and greater until we reach the winter solstice. Morris dancers with their bells and sacred water wells are all a part of what this honoring in the dance of the circle of the year is all about. There's an exchange of a sprig of rosemary in many places, and if you want to give someone a special blessing, wrap a sprig of rosemary in a red ribbon to give as a gift right on the summer solstice. It's also a time if you want to do some personal divination about what the summer ahead holds for you. We're thinking of summer vacation, what's going on before maybe school might start in the fall, possibly. On Midsummer's Day, as close to noon as you can, take a bowl of cold water, maybe put some ice in it, put it out in the sun to charge. There's a belief that the sunlight has antiseptic properties, and there's a lot to support if you think of vitamin D, how sunny climates can be healthy for people that aren't well, to support the magic of the sun. At any rate, if you have a bowl of clear water and some melted candle to put into the water, you can have a large candle maybe in a jar and let a pool of candle wax appear, or melt some wax with a spoon over a flame, just so there's about a tablespoon of wax. And then pour that into the ice water as you're wishing for an omen or a sign about what the summer ahead holds, and see what appears. And you can preserve or keep that piece of wax, maybe just in a corner until the fall equinox. And then you'll be able to see when the summer is over how that might have affected you. For example, you might see the face of a cat, and that could be a new pet appearing. One time I got a clown shoe when I was doing this, and I thought, what's going on? But then I had a job here at some of the Disney hotels working for convention services, doing some mini readings as a palmist. And it turned out I was working next to a group of clowns. They were great to work with. I really enjoyed working with the clowns, and I thought, well, there's my clown shoe. So it could appear in a totally unexpected way, but this does seem to be a way to personalize the information of the warm sun's energy and what it might mean to you. Looking at the horoscope for the world in general, at this summer solstice, it's just after the new moon, and the moon has moved ahead into Leo. It's conjunct Venus and Mars, and there's a grouping of planets called a stellium, right at 8 to 18 degrees Leo, all pulled in. That intercedes for younger people, and there'll be a lot of youthful exuberance around this summer, and a lot of focus on the very young, what the rest of us can do to help the very young ones. Also, the strong Leo emphasis represents pride, dignity, an emphasis on what the world's royalty might mean to people. And combining business with pleasure, there's a theatrical quality to all of that Leo influence. And there might be some really unusual films opening up or other types of entertainment venues that can appeal to many. If you happen to be a Leo, it'll be a strong focus on bringing out your inner qualities and gifts, kind of letting everything surface and shine. The sun, of course, as it crosses into each of the 4 cardinal signs, is the marker for each of the new seasons. The summer solstice is when the sun enters the sign of Cancer, 00 Cancer. And this shows what's going on until the sun goes to 0 Libra, and that'll be the autumn, but that's looking ahead. This is the only placement we have in the sign of Cancer for this Ingress chart for the summer solstice. And it shows an emphasis on how we want to network with other people, which crowds and groups and friendships we want to nurture, and which we might endure and kind of outgrown, particularly if you have a lot of the birth sign of Cancer in your birth chart. Gemini is in one of its own ruling signs, represented by the planet Mercury. Mercury in Gemini indicates a great deal of emphasis on travel, variety, and multitasking for everybody. Gemini people, your intellectual abilities will be at a point of new horizons. If you have any tests to take at all, achievement tests or anything that would show where you might want to be admitted to a different program, if you happen to have a lot of Gemini in your birth chart, this would be a good time to go ahead and proceed with that. For Taurus people, we have Uranus, Jupiter, and the moon's node in Taurus in the 9th house. This is a lot of interest in different spiritual horizons, thinking about how to connect with the divine. The Lord and Lady or the Godheads, the saints, can be of emphasis in your life. And also there's a lot of interest in anything imported or foreign. The food and artwork, maybe the languages of other lands could appeal to you if you're strongly Taurus. For everybody, a spiritual connection with the earth, land, and nature, and how things are globally going on with the earth. How, say, the Amazon rainforest might be affecting the rest of us, how seismic activity in different parts of the world could affect the whole planet. A lot of emphasis on that. Also, the strong Taurus emphasis is about crystals And crystals and gems, of course, are raw computer memory. Have you ever thought of how SiO2, silicon dioxide, is the same chemical composition as all the crystals that run the internet, even if you're not into chemistry? It's interesting to think of that and how the different crystals around us combine with different chemicals to affect the world we live in. Topics like that will intrigue more of us, different types of crystals. Your birthstone is a good place to start in analyzing crystals. And we also have in the sign of Aries, Chiron there, which is about healing. In the sign of Pisces, Saturn and Neptune are present, indicating being about in some elements of denial about things. We see what we want to see. Emotions can affect perceptions of reality and analysis for all of us. Pisces, the sign of the fish, on another level, is about the ecology of the water. Here in Florida, there's a lot of interest in how this giant seaweed blanket that's drifting around and threatening to the beach itself on the beaches is going to affect everything. I'm looking for it to arrive right around the summer solstice. Everyone's wondering when it will be here. And of course, the seaweed bloom may have to do with the way the ocean ecology is affected by people, or it might be a natural cycle. That's another big topic of debate. And the seaweed blanket could be extremely evident in this seasonal cycle. Pluto has gone all the way back into Capricorn, retrograding. It's in the 6th house of health, and I think that some of the health conditions that were around the pandemic we all dreaded could either be a topic people are interested in avoiding in the future, or there could be a resurgence of some of the COVID or other viruses and concern about biological technologies of long-dead pathogens arising. That is kind of a frightening topic, and I think that many people are going to be concerned about that. Whether it will really happen or not, who's to say? There's nothing that is a precedence to look at astrologically, except I could say there's illusion and confusion because of Saturn, another planet that relates to health, being retrograde in Pisces. So good or bad, worldwide health conditions might not be what we see, but that could surface as the summer solstice is passing. And those of us who are heavily Capricorn could be particularly interested in that. You Sagittarians are all about parties, sports, and good times. And Scorpios, you'll be thinking about real estate and housing. Libra people, you're going to have attention deficit disorder. You'll be multitasking, looking at a number of different things. Virgos, you'll be interested in buying things you've wanted, investing and managing your money wisely. And Leos, again, will be thinking a lot about appearance and image. I'm Dickie Jo in Orlando, Florida, wishing you a bright and upbeat summer season. And remember, this information affects us until the autumn begins.
Reverend Dr. Dickie Jo Mullen, astrologer, psychic, and parapsychologist. Dr. Mullen provides the following services: astrology, psychic, rune, and tarot card readings, face-to-face and Zoom readings and seances, and webinars and face-to-face presentations. Thank you for watching. Reverend Dr. Dickie Jo Mullen can be contacted at her skymaiden@juno.com email address. She also has a Facebook page, which she invites you to view, and her WordPress site, where she has additional resources.